There are a lot of cool tricks you can do in Assassin's Creed Mirage that the game does not tell you about, but I want to start with the torch, as you can just throw it on an enemy to have it run around so it changes position, or you can let them leave their post so you can assassinate them without other enemies noticing. Yes, this is really strong against armored enemies, and it even works on the Mercenary, and this makes them unable to do anything back, so you can very easily defeat them. The only downside is that you cannot use the torch in combat, so you have to grab it before the fight starts. And it's of course nice to take out the Mercenary, as it immediately removes your notoriety, and looting them gives you all your elixirs back and some of your tools as well. So handy to know more tips to easily take them out, like you can throw an oil jar and be done with it. This feels really great. You already saw me do it, but you can also collapse a scaffolding structure to get rid of them. You can throw them off buildings or kick them off a building. You can also use this kickback skill to simply nuke their defense bar in combat, which is way less situational, so then parry and kick, and make sure you kill it and not kick it again when you can finish the job. If you have the Sand Dagger from the Deluxe Edition, they can use that on a parry to slow down time and also quickly finish it, but tools are in particular really handy. The tactic that I use the most, that I think is the easiest, is using the Noisemaker and then upgrading it with the Weakness Tier 2 perk, as then with 2 throws the defense on the Mercenary is just completely gone and they can walk up to them and finish the job. Like, the Noisemaker is way more than a nice distraction device. With the weakness upgrade you can also get other armored enemies stunned, so without having to hit them from the back. Now you can finish them off, and this even works when multiple enemies are close to each other, like it's quite strong in combat. I got more cool tool tricks, but first I want to touch on the Assassin's Focus, which of course mostly to take out a lot of enemies in quick succession. Unlock the skills to get a bigger focus bar, and they can take out 5 enemies in one go, which is actually needed for a trophy or achievement, and a great spot to do that, by the way, is over here on the map in the garrison. There are 5 enemies just standing here, so perfect to get the job done, but there are more unique ways to use the Assassin's Focus. One I showed you before is basically using it as a teleport to easily reach high locations that otherwise require a detour. Only requires 1 focus bar as well. You can also activate it to skip some guards. Just jump to the target in the back and the other enemies won't notice it, or when you are alerted, you can quickly use Assassin's Focus instead to take the enemies out before the whole camp will come after you. Like the moment the combat icon turns into the yellow search icon, you can use the Assassin's Focus again, so also to get back into the fight with a nice head start. But a really nice move you can do is throw a throwing knife to one enemy and then quickly jump to the other enemy to see them fall down at the exact same moment. Even cooler is to do this in combination with the airstrike skill, where you slow down time mid-air while aiming with the throwing knife, and if you then time it right, you can take out a group of 3 enemies before hitting the ground. It's pretty slick. I got more nice tricks. Of course, if you liked the video so far, then leaving a like would be awesome. And subscribe if you are new. I got way more Mirage videos on the channel and coming your way. Like maybe you missed the Dervises artifacts tricks that I mentioned in a previous video. Like killing the NPC, which works, so you can grab their loot. Or putting them to sleep with the blow dart. This will also let you skip the stealing mini game. Or you can of course turn on the guaranteed pickpocket setting. There are also some secret combat moves the game does not tell you about, like being able to parry incoming projectiles like arrows, rocks, or the throwing knives from the Mercenary. Really handy because he always throws one after doing his jump backwards. There are also some nice melee tricks that you can do. We have the regular light attack combo, which consists of 5 fast hits, and Basim also has a heavy attack combo with 3 strong and slower attacks. But what you can do is combine them, so do 1 light attack and then a heavy attack to immediately go to the second heavy attack in that combo, which that cool uppercut. That is a ton of fun to use and really strong. But you can also do 2 light attacks and then immediately do the final heavy attack of that heavy attack combo. Basim also has a dodge attack, so step backwards and then do a light attack to really quickly counter with a sort of spin, which is pretty cool. And they can also immediately chain that with the heavy attack uppercut, for some nice extra damage. There are also sprint attacks that are handy to know, like sprinting and then doing a light attack is kinda similar to the counter from the dodge, but if you do a heavy attack out of a sprint, you do a different move that is pretty nice too, and creates a great opening to sometimes immediately take the enemy out. You can also do these out of a slide, by the way, so sprint, slide, and then attack for a similar light or heavy sprint attack. Now the final secret move Basm can do was also in the RPG games, a jump and then strike down. So also to immediately start your combo from the high ground and quickly take an enemy out. Like I am of course using upgraded weapons here, so if you want to know how to really increase your damage, check my best weapons video that I will leave a link to in the video description. Now another important thing that the game does not really tell you about is stamina management, because if you don't keep track of that orange bar under your health, you will be unable to move and become a very easy target for enemies. Like all your attacks and dodges cost stamina, and the only way to get it back is through a parry, a finisher, or waiting for it to refill. So my overall tactic is to wait for the enemy to strike, then dodge backwards, hit them with the counter, and then I try to keep the combat flow going, and then you will have a short finisher, and during that time you can refill your stamina and are not able to get hit. But also of course going for those parries in between is great to keep your stamina up and constantly strike and dodge when needed. But next to raw melee power, you of course want to use those tools in smart ways to quickly take care of annoying enemies as well. The smoke bomb is by far the best tool, as throwing it down lets you immediately assassinate a group of enemies and they won't notice you either, so you will stay hidden. There are a couple, like a small selection of enemies that cannot be assassinated though, but it still gives you enough time to slice them and take them out before the smoke bomb effect wears off. Like I found the Greek fire enemies pretty annoying, so now I just like immediately put them asleep in combat so I can immediately take care of them. Or you can also aim correctly with the throwing knife to insta-kill them and sometimes even have them blow up. Now something fun I've been doing recently is making them my ally with the berserker darts that you unlock in the third tier of the blow dart. One shot and the enemies will turn against their allies, and this flamethrower is really great at taking out guards for you, so totally the best enemy to use the berserker darts on. Like I tried it on some brutes, but they are very slow and other enemies can just hit through their defenses from the front. You sadly cannot turn the mercenary berserk, so just save these darts for the Greek fire enemies as they are very solid companions. I showed you this before, but if you missed it, most brutes that don't have the extra protection at their legs can be knocked down with a throwing knife, so they can easily finish them off. But overall the game changer against brutes is the counter roll skill, because then when they do their red attacks, just dodge towards them and you're now facing their back. Only do light attacks, because then you will constantly stagger them, so have a high chance to actually take them out before they're able to turn around. Bam, they're now an easy target. Let me know if you got cool tricks like this in the comments down below. I might do a follow-up video and then I will of course shout you out if I use one of your tricks. So subscribe to not miss that. A like would really help me out. And check out my previous video on all the outfits in the game by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye.